I am at less than half my hit points.
They're overrated.
Let's have everybody reintroduce their characters since it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm playing Mrog, who is our kind of proto-barbarian. Like, it's pretty much straight up Conan ripoff. And he has mighty thews with tormented eyes. And he thinks Tommy is puny and foolish, but amuses him. And
Check
Harold's
two.
ways are strange and confusing.
All right. And Harold, tell us about your strange and confusing ways.
All right, Harold is a human druid, messy hair, bright eyes, practical leathers. So whatever happened to Gorm the Mirthful, or is there only Mrog now?
There's only Mrog because I lost my Gorm
Okay.
character sheet.
But the great thing is, continuity-wise, Mrog is exactly for bonds and things like that what Gorm was.
Is Gorm. It's I rebuilt the character sheet as accurately as I could.
So Mrog smells more like prey than a hunter to me. Calms Tommy has tasted my blood and I theirs. We are bound by it.
Tasty.
Yum.
Tastes like sugar.
And that leaves
And,
Tom.
Oh yeah, Tommy Tangle Figures is he's a thief, it says here. And he is a dark he is dark and messy, shifty and knobby. And he is chaotic.
Just the way I like him.
I stole something from Oh no, I didn't steal something from Mrog. Mrog apparently has my back when things go wrong, which is worrying. Timothy, who isn't present, knows incriminating details about me. And Harold and I have a con going.
That's right.
Yep, that's my favorite bit.
Which is something I always have to remember. So
Right.
I always imagine that we're like the two guys from Huckleberry Finn. The two who end up getting tarred and feathered. But hopefully that won't happen to us.
Now, you all had a series of sort of small adventures and have accumulated some loot along the way that you might want to sell off. You have discovered a treasure map in the abandoned house that had once belonged, it seemed, to a mage, but it was occupied by a horrible three-armed monster.
Ugh.
And filled with its dung, as I recall. And now you guys have a few alternate paths you could take, if I may. You could sit around and do nothing, I guess. That's always an option. You do have a friendly community called Behemoth, this huge, wandering, probably dead monster that an actual community lives in and around and wanders a set path seasonally around this area of the known world. So you go there, that would be an opportunity to recharge, sell your stuff, get the lay of the land, that sort of thing. But there are people you probably ought not to rip off. You have the treasure map. It is unspecified as to what the treasure is or the nature of the place, but you have a map that leads you to what clearly to whoever made the map was something of potential value. And you've also heard in your wanderings since your last adventure, you've run into every now and then herdsmen, pastoralists leading mostly sheep. And in the town of Dallensdock, there is a market that most of them seem to be headed toward. And word is there will be a lot of higher ups and the money that they bring there. So that isn't, if you are interested in, getting the grift on, that might be a place to find targets and opportunities. So talk amongst yourself, kind of a civilization of the sort that you target, the outlaw civilization that is a friendly place to you, or a treasure map.
I'm all for the treasure map.
Treasure map.
I mean, it's probably the last thing you hear. Do we want to try to... treasures, in my experience, are usually pretty closely guarded. Do we want to try to sell off some loot and buy some supplies and beef up a little bit before we go after it?
No, I've been doing nothing for nearly a month now. I want to kill something.
Okay, sounds good.
I like it.
I want to do some breaking and entering.
Don't worry. There will be opportunities to kill things whichever way you go. I won't deny that. See, it was all a false choice. 10 steps into your plan, a dragon pops
like
out.
A dragon pops out. You fall through a hole in the ground and now you're in the Underdark. Yeah.
This
is going to be the next 3 years of your life.
You forget that Tommy does not have a plan, remember?
That's right. So the consensus was follow the treasure map?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not really in the mood to shop unless there's there's fighting involved, then sign me up. I mean, I do have some stuff to sell.
No, Mrog is never going to say no to a little rough and tumble. Treasure map.
Let's do treasure map.
Okay, so say you all. So it is about 4 days' journey from where you found it. You remember you were along a river. It was a little island in the midst of a river crossing. You follow the river for a ways. That is the main guiding landmark on the map. Then the path the map takes you on turns you into foothills, craggy, bluffy hills. And you wind your way up and down paths through, little valleys here and there on the way. As you get closer and closer, you find yourself going through brambles and tangles, and a hole in the wall pretty much leads your way into the ultimate destination of the treasure map. The hole opens up into a valley that if you didn't have the map, there's no way you would have found it. It'd clearly been abandoned for quite some time. It opens up again into not a huge forest, but small, tough plant life. There's some wildlife that's clearly not used to a human presence. It scatters as you approach. And turning a corner into the valley proper, you see ruins, a bunch of smaller buildings, outbuildings, you might call them, made of stone, crumbled, grown with moss, clearly debris of decades, maybe centuries. But in the middle of it, a shining silver tower, not of great width, sticks up above the ground, probably 4-5 stories, you'd say.
Wait. 5 stories, silver, like made of metal?
It is silver in color. From this vantage, you can't tell if it's literally made of silver, however.
Because if it is, that's the treasure right there.
That's the treasure right there.
We just need to haul it back. No big deal.
Sunlight shines down on it now through the gaps in the overhanging bluffs, and it shines almost blinding if you look at it at the wrong angle.
Blinding you with science.
Yes. No moss seems to grow on it, at least from this distance. It seems perfectly intact, a stunning contrast to the ruin that surrounds it. What do you do?
And you said that as of this far, we should probably keep an eye as we get closer, but as of this far, there's no sign of anything but small woodland creatures.
Right. And
traipsing about.
Really know that any intelligent life has made its way through. You see, scat and paths of smaller animals, but nothing large, nothing obviously dangerous, and no sign of human or elf or dwarf, or the list goes on. No sign of anything resembling civilization apart from the ruins.
Tommy would like to poke around and maybe do a discern reality roll here.
So are you going right up to the tower and discerning, or are you kind of scouting the grounds here?
Oh, it's Tommy. He's going right up to the tower. Or at least within a few feet of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's to be worried about?
So it's 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier.
Oh, I didn't want that. Okay. 2d6. 4!
Oh, you have no pluses. Okay.
No.
Well, one piece of information you certainly get, there's nothing obviously resembling a door. It is just a sheer outer wall of this tower. Now that you're closer, it strikes you, there's no windows either. There's no obvious point of entry here. I'm going to have a consequence. I'm starting a clock a la Blades of the Dark and filling it in as, you take time and bad things happen, and perhaps something bad will happen if it gets full.
Uh-oh. Can Harold try and discern realities? Maybe there is an entry buried in the ground around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and always you can kind of describe what you're doing, and even if you're standing on something obvious, even a failed discern reality roll, like if there was an obvious trap door, you wouldn't miss that. But even in Tommy's cursory inspection walking around the tower, he didn't see anything like that. You can also try spouting lore to see if anything strikes you about things like this.
Yeah, well, do I know anything about these giant towers? It's a roll plus intelligence, huh?
Yeah, that would be spout lore.
No other skill?
No, I don't think. Well, we don't really have skills. Exactly.
All right, so
unless if you have moves that would be relevant.
Yeah, try to see.
Oh
wait, I think I can cast guidance. Will that help? Or is it the wrong kind of guidance?
That sounds
guidance similar to
druid. I'm just scrolling.
Yeah. Well, actually, so the latest druid move I took is God amidst the waste. Well, it's Hunter's Brother, which lets me take a move from another, a limp
Ranger
class.
Yep.
So
I took scrolling down to that.
I took God amidst the waste from cleric.
Oh, okay.
So that gives me. I'm a first level cleric essentially. So I'm gonna cast guidance. Symbol of my deity appears before me and gestures toward the direction or course of action your deity would have you take, and then disappears.
Okay.
Message is through gesture only. Your communication through this spell is severely limited.
Interesting. What kind of deity would you have, Surly Chaotic Druid?
Oh, Surly Chaotic Druid. This is going to be an owl deity who prefers nighttime, where things can be, where you can be sneakier and where you can hunt your
Nice.
prey in the dark and surprise them.
Excellent.
It's a deity of wisdom, of course, wisdom and secret knowledge.
So to invoke a cleric spell, which is effectively what you're doing, is a 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier. After all that.
And I'm not just making up the owl part. My token is a carved owl pendant on a leather cord.
Well, so in this world, there is not a lot of definition in the universe. So as we come up with narrative stuff, it is canon. There is now an owl deity in this land.
Right. So I got a 9.
9. Okay. So yeah, partial success. The penalty is you will not be able to use this clerical invocation again, this outing. But the symbol of an owl kind of like slowly coalesces, like dust rises up out of the ground in the shape of an owl, gazes at you for a moment, and then takes off straight toward the top of the tower before disappearing again.
Oh dear.
We need to build a big ladder.
Yeah. Why don't you get on that, barbarian? I'll watch.
What does the foliage around here look like?
There's outlines of ruins, foundations, nothing really with a roof intact. And then growing through it, you have tough, brambly things that can grow in what appears to be shallow soil, vines, nothing tall, no tall trees. Like think tough and kind of brambly and viney for the most part.
How tall is this tower?
Tall,
50
5 stories, right?
feet, call it 60 feet.
Okay, that's pretty tall. Do you think it would be possible, for us
For me to
like,
throw you up there? Yes. Come here.
No, I am way too large. Speaking of
Well, you
people who
tie
have
a rope
strange
around
ways,
him.
I am muscle bound.
Well, I'm wondering if we can't, attach a vine to something and throw it up, shoot it up. 50 feet's pretty far to just throw something.
I'll just push it over. I go try to push over the tower.
That doesn't seem likely. It
Okay.
seems to have really stood the test of time here.
Oh well. I mean,
Well,
I'm
we're
muscle
giving up
bound.
on that one then.
Yeah, short adventure tonight.
Remember to check your gear lists, and adventuring gear, remember, is a thing you can check off for useful mundane items, as the book says, such as
Right.
chalk, poles, spikes, ropes, etc.
Has that replenished since our last time?
No,
Damn you.
I'm sorry. Maybe this.
Well, I
this
still have
was-
2.
don't go to the friendly city, will you? I'm sorry, Cam, go ahead.
I said maybe this was already stated. What material is the tower now that we're like standing up against it, looking
Oh,
at it?
good question. Yeah, you don't think it is, in fact, silver. It seems like it is a stone, but shined to a strange sheen. Like, did somebody spend their time polishing this whole thing? Is it some kind of magical construction? You're not sure. It is some kind of stone, though. Yeah, you can't melt the whole thing down as silver, sadly.
I'm, certainly a dumb barbarian, but I would look to we have a druid, right?
That's me.
I would look to our druid and say, can you make a vine grow up the side that we can climb?
I do not apparently
You don't
have
have any
that ability.
speed growth or anything?
No, I don't think so. I'm sorry to say.
Speedy vine?
No.
If we were playing Ars Magica, we could.
Yeah, right. A different game.
We could also burn shit. Let's burn the tower.
Actually, can I do a trap expert roll here just to see if there's any traps on this darn thing, or has somebody already done that?
If there's a trap, it is incredibly cunningly hidden. Like, you don't see what a trap would be on at this point. Like, nothing.
Thanks.
Like, I mean, there's always the chance, like, if there's something magical, maybe, but there's, as far as like any kind of obvious physical trap or trigger of a magical trap, there's really nothing down here.
I have a carved wooden claw wand. I don't know what that does.
I don't think you ever figured out what it does.
I could give it to Harold and he could wave it around.
I mean, I could wave it around too. I just hit the tower with it though.
I just don't happen to have adventuring gear. That didn't come with my character, so I'm kind of thinking that's probably the way to do it.
I have
would probably
adventuring
here,
gear.
too.
Yeah.
I guess the one last thing, are there any moon letters on the treasure map? Have we thoroughly examined this treasure map?
Yeah, somebody could give a good
Stand by
look
the-
at it.
Gray stone where the thrush knocks at the last light of the setting sun.
Yeah, somebody can give that a go. I would let somebody try rolling a wisdom or an intelligence.
Oh, I have a -1 in that, guys. I'll do it.
I have a +1 in intelligence. Harold's is probably higher.
Wisdom is my strongest suit. Now, intelligence, I'm only average.
Well, what about wisdom? He said you could do a
Do
wisdom
you have
roll.
do you have a +2 in wisdom?
I do.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
All right, let's try it again. Here we go.
Everybody loves rolling wisdom.
We do. How wise am I today? I am 8 wise.
Hey,
Okay, you are able to, by playing with the usual little heat behind it, looking at it through the light and things like that, you do get that sort of faint runic writing in the background. And that's the good news. The bad news is the utility of it. It says after you've spent some time trying to translate it from a language you only distantly know, enter on top floor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right. We got to go up to the top.
I've got a rope with a hook on it.
That seems useful.
you want me to try to give it a heave?
Yes, because I was going to say I can't hit 50 feet.
Can I do a strength check on that?
That seems like it could absolutely be a strength check.
Okay. You could argue it's a dex, but I think we're going more for distance than finesse here.
I'd take that too. Well, at this distance, yeah, I think
So it's 2d6 plus
2d6.
the mod.
Yep.
correct.
Frog the Girthful.
Hey,
Oh, a
Ooh.
13.
Wow.
Mrog just kind of casually does two
throw it all the way over
rotations
the
of the
tower.
grapple. Doesn't even put his body into it. You just see his arm casually shrug it up into the air. The hook fixes onto the top edge of the tower, a little overhang up there. He tugs, lifts himself up. It seems really quite secure.
And I say, me first, and I go.
You guys are experienced adventurers. He hooked it really quite well. So I don't think we need to roll to get up. It might take some time. Strong Mrog will probably get up to it and laugh at you as you struggle up a little.
I can haul somebody up too as they.
Yeah. But thanks to that advanced success, nobody needs to roll dex to make it to the top or anything like that. You make it to the top of the tower and you're struck as you go up repeatedly and take damage. I mean, struck by just the sheer consistency of the outside of this tower. Hail must have hit it at some point, right? Rain and ice and things over the years. It shows no signs of variability or damage or anything the whole way up. You make it to the top and get up off the rope. You are on the top of the building. It just has that little overhang that the grappling hook secured on so securely. In the middle of it is an opening. You see it leads down to a spiral stair, and there is a shimmering, flickering light field across it. It seems obvious to you that it is not working, it's not as it should be. It's you're looking at a flickering lamp or something like that, but it covers the circumference of the hole.
So here, just at the top of the tower, I would assume that naturally there'd be debris that blows around in the air and settles on the top of this tower. Are there
seems
any
reasonable. Sure.
footprints in the dust besides the ones that I just made coming up, or
Oh,
does
good
it look
point.
like it's been swept or maintained, or what do I see?
No, it seems it's not overgrown with debris because there's not tall trees with leaves and things like that. But there is, some dust that's blown up here and things like that. Birds don't seem to perch up here, maybe just because they can't really get any cover.
Okay.
But there's some bird waste and things like that. And no signs of anything walking here, maintaining it. No.
Tommy's a little leery of this shimmering light thing at the entrance. And is it?
I don't know why he would be.
Is it exactly at the entrance, or is it?
Yeah, it is. So if you picture, there's just this circular hole in the top of the ceiling here, and the light is it is the size of that hole. If Tommy watched science fiction movies, he might have seen a force field.
Yeah, Tommy loves science fiction movies. He's going to try Trap Expert here.
That seems good.
Check it out. So, not good. 7.
Okay.
I get 1 hold.
Right. So you can ask one of your trap awareness questions.
Is there a trap here? And if so, what activates it?
Okay.
Actually, no, fuck that. Never mind. It's pretty obvious what activates it.
Uh-huh.
What does this trap do when activated?
Okay. So as a thief, you hear the lore of the thieving trade. So people have encountered all sorts of different traps over time. This is a light that you think that this is a magical protection that would repel somebody who tried to go through it. The thing you don't know is, sometimes that just means, nudge you back away. Sometimes it could be pushes you up with great force. So it appears to be, a repulsion field.
One man's repulsion field is another man's trampoline.
Yes.
So you say that out loud?
Yes, of course.
What's a trampoline?
I would go jump on it then.
Oh, good. All right. Mrog the Dreadful and dead.
Are you jumping on it, Mrog?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is flickering in and out. Are you trying to time it so you hit the light? Are you trying to beat the light?
He said
What are you
trampoline. I'm gonna try a trampoline.
Okay. I would like you to make a dexterity roll.
That's a 0, so just straight
Up 2d6.
6.
Okay. Hey,
Oh,
good
dear.
news. You get to mark an experience point.
Cool.
Bad news is you'll never get to use it.
Bad news. So you actually jump on it, the light disappears, and you're like, all right, I'm going to fall all the way through. The repulsion field kicks in, and you feel your legs jerked out of joint as you start to go in before it successfully grabs the rest of you and shoots you back up out of it.
Trampoline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
much like a real life
trampoline.
trampoline, it is causing
Yes.
you damage in the form of 3 points of damage.
Okay, I can handle that.
Wow, that's a lot.
3, not 30. The two of you observing when he did that, you had a brief moment where you're concerned that you're creating a new version of Legsy here, because it really seemed like the top half was going to pull away from the bottom half for just a moment there. But after it shot him back up, the light fizzled and blanked out for a good 2 seconds and then came back on.
Oh, we should have him do it again, and we should sneak in.
Okay.
Well,
Only 3 points of damage. I can handle that.
I said, what if we could drop something through, maybe? That would be expelled and then we could get in.
a barbarian, say.
Yeah.
We have a spare barbarian. So I've got a number of gold coins. I'm just going to drop one into it just to see if it interacts with something that small. Or is it going to shoot me in the face with it?
The gold coin hits it and does a bounce back up. You're ready, and your reflexes aren't total crap. So it shoots up into the air. It doesn't seem proportionally to have put as much force on it as the barbarian. Because if it pushed the barbarian and pushed the coin should shoot like way up into the air. It just shoots a few feet up in the air.
You say it's possible to time this where it's flashing and it's and it's
sometimes
not
it's like
flashing?
flicker in, out, and then sometimes it's out, in, out. Yeah.
Tommy's a little guy. I don't know if he is or not. I keep thinking I'm confusing him with
With
the
the
guy
blades in the
from
dark.
Blades of the Dark guy. But I'm assuming
Wee
he's
Willie.
small. I'm
Yes.
assuming he's small. So
This is
yeah,
Wee
so-
Willie into the multiverse here.
So this would
Yeah.
be a dex. This would be a dex roll. He's just gonna try and
Try and time it.
time it and just
Take a rope with you, because what if we can keep the rope behind you?
dive in there. Okay, well, let's say we pull up the rope that we climbed up.
Sure.
Okay, so I have that around me. I have that wrapped around my shoulder, and I will go and attempt to dart through this thing when it is
Excellent.
mid-flash. So that is
Okay.
a dex roll.
Hell yeah.
Do I have anything else that can... Oh, I couldn't use tricks of the trade here at all, could I?
Pick locks or pockets or disable a trap.
Disable a trap.
Oh no, I love that. I think that makes sense. Since you're trying to defeat a trap, I think that can fit under tricks of the trade. Yes. That makes sense to me.
Okay, so
I think you
it's
should try to
still-
poison the trap. But that's just me.
So it's still a 2d6 plus 2. Let's go. 6.
Oh, good God, you guys suck.
Ooh.
I mean, tough break. A
Experience.
6.
Missed both my legs.
Yeah.
Just
So
stuck
you
hanging upside
guys
down.
see Tommy like waiting. The thing blinks out. He goes in, but it blinks back in too quickly. I mean, he's a savvy, fast customer, but he just timed the traffic light wrong.
I'm a savvy, fast customer, guys.
That's gonna bounce him out too.
I could try to throw you through.
For 2 points of damage. You are
Okay.
not as big, so I guess that it didn't hurt you quite as much. But you guys watching now, you see it blink out again. It like really seems to have shorted out some after he jumped on it. It looked like fun when he shot up in the air, actually, too, despite the howl of pain.
It wasn't.
Did it short out long enough that theoretically, after having seen it happen once already, I could go?
Yeah, if you want to try to make a jump for it as he's bouncing up and screaming in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What could go wrong?
totally.
Take another 4 points of damage.
All right, I'm going to be ready to jump through when the barbarian fails.
Okay.
One of
Okay.
us will get through here.
Mrog, I'm going to give you a +1 now because you've learned from experience your own and Tommy's.
And this is going to be a strength roll because I'm seeing how strongly I can jump through, right?
Okay, sure.
Oh, okay. As long as 10.
There you go. Okay.
That looks like success.
Yeah. So Tommy bounces up in the air. The thing shorts out, and describe your jump, your plunge through, Mrog.
Hold on, I will post something in the chat that we can then describe. Because I looked at the glass I was drinking out of.
I'm intrigued. And I'm thinking with the strength, I assume you like jumped in and grabbed the lip of the thing and pulled yourself through really quickly using that strength. Yeah, that's why it was strength.
I jumped and I was looking like this.
Incredible Hulk on the glass.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right.
Like that same facial expression.
Mm-hmm.
Just jump in.
Excellent. Okay, he is through. This is clearly somebody's entryway, and everything in here seems to be intact. No debris, or very little debris. I guess sometimes things might have fallen through when the thing was flickering. Seems very clean and intact here. There's wooden furniture that, given, again, the decay of the surrounding area, it seems like that should have fallen apart or been rotting or something like that. It isn't. And there's just like a chair, a coat hooks, things where you would come in and change and then head down the stairwell that leads further down into the tower. Coming up off of the stairwell, you see weird vines, petrified wood, something like that. Just a few of them, the end portions of them, tendrils of them, apparently growing up from some floor below. And there's like, again, small furniture, place to sit, coat hooks, a small wardrobe, maybe to take off larger things. This is the Mr. Rogers room to change sweaters and shoes.
There's no lever, big button.
You can make a Discern Realities roll if you'd like to try to find a way to, if
Sure,
there's
what
a
would
turn
that-
off door guard button. Sure.
Yeah, what would that, is that an intelligence or?
That'll be wisdom, yeah.
Wisdom, okay, that's better. That's a straight roll.
So I tried to jump straight through right after.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
catch that you're
okay.
doing that. So you make the same, you can choose strength or dex to dive through with that same +1 of lesson learned there.
It's pretty much identical. We'll go ahead and say it's Dex. 10.
Okay, yeah, you make it through with flying colors as well. So sorry, the same description for both of you. And just looking up, you see Tommy like boing, boing, boing,
Okay.
bouncing up and down.
I wanted to do that.
Can I throw like the end of the rope up through that? Does it do anything?
Yeah, actually throwing it up through from this side, it goes straight through. Like it actually hits when the light is lit and goes right up through.
Yeah. So I want to throw that end through and see if he can maybe.
See if we can just yank him through.
Yeah, exactly. Or if he can like slither down it. I'm kind of curious
Okay.
how this works. Or if like is the trampoline or trap, whatever it is going to just slice the rope in half or some crazy thing.
It doesn't. You're not sure if that's because it came up from the inside or not, but it seems to ignore it.
Okay.
Okay, so Tommy ties the rope around his neck, and you guys just
I'm still outside.
You're still outside, yeah. What is the plan to get Tommy in?
Tie it around your waist and I'll yank you through.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I will just barbarian you through.
I still think I should probably do a dex roll.
So at the next opening, you'll each make a strength. You'll make a strength roll, Amrog, and you'll make a dex roll, Tommy. And any success gets you a success
Can
on
I
either
help?
end gets you through.
I rolled a 9 on my deck.
11.
Even better.
Total success.
Okay, Tommy, you dive
am a
through
total
and you
success.
see the light just flickering in. It's going to catch your ankle, but then you feel a force from below yank you through and not get you snagged at all or hurt on the way down.
Big, strong barbarian.
Yes.
Barbarian.
Now we're all in.
Okay, you are all in. The room is as I described it. The ways out are the stairwell leading up to that hole, or the spiral staircase continues down to the next floor down. Now that you're here and not like yelling up back and forth, you hear from somewhere down below nothing. Thump, 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 crash. Thump, 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 crash. Thump, crash. From you're not sure how far down that is.
Just to eliminate the obvious, maybe the treasure's right here. I would throw open the armoire and anything else there is to throw open.
That was the only thing that you couldn't see
Okay.
into. Yeah, there's, again, places for hanging stuff, no obvious treasure chests or anything like that here. Looking around a little bit, you do see a release that may well be your force field control.
Okay, but nothing in the armoire.
Nothing of obvious value, no.
Okay. Me first, and I go down the stairs.
All right, yeah, fine. You first. Let's go see what the thumping's all about.
Okay. You guys proceed down to the 3rd floor. Around, again, this one has no internal dividers in it. The tower isn't incredibly wide. In fact, structurally, it's weird that something this narrow is this tall, but something about the magical or whatever ingredients that it was built of seems to be working quite fine. Around the outer wall is a table built in around the outer wall. I can't think, a sideboard that covers the whole outside wall of the building. And all around it are flasks and beakers and pens and inks. And it's clearly the paraphernalia of some sort of caster of and maker of magic. It is packed, but in a very orderly and tidy fashion, like well organized. Lots and lots of stuff, some of which is obvious in its purpose, some of which is puzzling in its arcane nature. The other notable thing about this room is those viney tendrils I mentioned that extended up to the upstairs. There's more of them here, again extending from down below, but thicker and more of them, sometimes now even tangled up with each other. There's still room amongst them to pass down the stairwell leading down to the next floor, but less so. Like, whereas there were just like 3 or 4 sticking through up to the top floor, there's a lot more here. The running and thumping sound continues. It's now clearly the floor below you.
White glove check again. Is there a layer of dust?
It is not dusty in here, no.
Okay.
But that said, there's no obvious sign of recent use.
Gotcha.
There's no reagents mixed together. There's no smoke and bubbling. There's no sign that anything has been heated recently. It is disused, but not in disrepair.
Gotcha. Do any of the smarter folk want to look at any of the science bitch stuff? Because Mrog has no use for it.
I don't have a whole lot of use for it either. I'll just make a quick rummaging, I guess, just to be sure there's nothing.
Okay. Definitely you think some of this at the very least would be sellable, even if it's not usable to you. Somebody can make a roll for the team, pick a likely either move or attribute to see how good you do at finding what's worth taking here.
It'd be intelligence. I got a +1 on intelligence. Or
I mean, muscle bound. While you wield a weapon, it gains the forceful and messy tags. I could just start smashing, and whatever survives is obviously the most valuable.
Nice.
If it can't even take a smashing.
If you guys want to take a bit of time to look at it, you can each pick an attribute to roll to see if you can find something useful or valuable.
Tommy will do intelligence first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ugh. 5.
There's no negative consequence to failure, but there's no XP for failure on this one.
Yeah, it's a 5.
I think intelligence for me, but it's pretty much just straight up. Let's just see what we can get. 8.
I'm going to do a constitution check, and I'm just going to take whiffs of stuff and see which one seems the most potent.
I should have a negative consequence for this one, but go ahead.
6.
Yeah, you feel a bit woozy at a couple points, but you don't find anything of obvious value. Tommy, this isn't the sort of stuff you're used to stealing, so you don't really have a good sense of what is valuable to take here. Harold, you do find some valuable and perhaps more importantly, durable and portable items that you recognize as being well made. And, even if you don't find a mage to sell these racks and things to, like an alchemist would probably buy them. You could think of different specialties where you could find stuff to sell.
I just put down alchemist gear or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Alchemist gear. And you can roll 3d6 to come up with a coin value.
Okay, here we go. That's pretty valuable.
Not the way you guys have been rolling.
There we go. It's not bad. Okay.
I also am going to take, I wrote down on my inventory already, woozy juice.
Okay.
I'm going to take 1 flask of one of the ones that seemed more potent. Who knows?
Excellent.
Throw it at something later.
Yeah, it'll be nice and random. I love it.
Yeah.
So you guys are starting to get the picture, even without a spout lore. You've heard of this, having traveled the world. This is a mage tower of some sort. There are always legends of mages who build small communities around their tower, locking out all of civilization from their immediate sanctum, but bringing in locals as servants to build a small community around them. All signs point toward that's what this is, or at least what it was at some point in the past.
Oh no, here's our Ars tie-in.
Exactly.
several thousand years in the future.
Some of the documents are signed Simon of Jerbaton.
Yeah.
Okay, not really. This is not a crossover event.
But maybe it should be. Ours world.
You actually find the corpse of my character from Mothership.
Oh man, my mind just blew. Is there light coming up from the stairwell going down below?
There is, now you mention it, you guys realize you haven't had to turn on the light up torches or anything. The interior of the wall has, and I should have mentioned this earlier, a faint glow that allows you to see without lighting up torches here. There's no additional glow from below, but it seems like it's consistent.
Okay.
And by the way, the background, the thumping and crashing from the floor below has not stopped. And you hear like sounds of cracking and things like that along with it now that you're closer as sort of an undercurrent.
Can I discern, is it one big thing? Is it 4 or 5 medium-sized things?
One big thing seems
Okay.
about right. Yeah. Or multiple big things taking turns.
Oh, okay. They're gonna bowl at us.
Oh no, that happened elsewhere.
A what? A bull?
We, in the campaign, the D&D campaign that
Oh.
Damon is running, he had giants bowling at us when we came around a corner.
Oh. Damn it, that's what this was.
Well,
I don't know how the giants fit in here, but
This time I'm going to sigh a little bit more. I'm going to go, me first?
Yes, always.
Okay. And I am going to hold my axe up, and I'm going to, subtlety seems a waste here. I'm going to just charge right down the stairs. I'll try to get a feel for the room before I start chopping randomly, but
sure. So these vine things, and they're hard, like it's now, as you go down the stairs, you can't not touch them. Up on this other floor, you could like step around them and stuff. They're getting thicker now. Just again, you can still get down without, a special roll, without worrying about tripping. But now it's getting more congested with these things and blocking your line of sight. And so you are down with your axe, and as you come down to the floor, this thumping starts off to your left, and then glancing around the bit of vine or whatever it is in your way, you see a large, unnatural creature charging at you, big in size, a combination of fur and feathers and a big beak, massive claws. Clearly not a natural creature, and it is making a charged beeline toward you now for having disturbed its lair, which it has spent apparently decades, maybe more, trashing everything. Like here you do see a lot of debris of whatever was in this room originally, and some of the vines are smashing out of the way as it goes through.
So, in other words, this is going to be an easy thing to calm because we're here to rescue it.
well,
Yes.
and it's got to be 9/10 starved at this point. So
Why
So
don't you
you're
do-
rolling
do we
charisma to see if you can
roll-
hug it, I assume.
Like, say, your arm.
well, no. Do we roll initiative, or do I have a turn here, or how? What are we?
Yeah, so
Can't
it is
remember
charging at
how-
you. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. It is charging headlong at you. What do you do? And we'll see if what you do triggers a move.
Yes, I will cry out. What are you waiting for? I can thump better than you. I cry out a challenge to my enemies. I roll plus con on a 10+. They treat me as the most obvious threat. So yeah, they'll be targeting me rather than my comrades once my comrades get in here.
Oh, we're supposed to show up?
I mean, it's up to you. Did I ever tell you you're strange and confusing to me? So that's 2d6
Plus
plus
con. Yep.
con 1. Wanting a 10 or better, 5.
Wow. Okay. You mark experience. So that failed. So it will challenge you. And while you're doing that, it just puts on a burst of speed and slams into you, hurling you backwards. You have a choice. You can take heavy damage or heavier damage and stay on your feet, or roll with it and be knocked down.
I'll roll with it.
Okay. So it's not going to hit you as
I do have a
badly.
+1 to my armor too. For
Ooh,
what
that will count. That will subtract.
Okay.
Okay, 3 less your armor. So it slams into you. You braced yourself and were ready for it and went sprawling. So take that 3 less your 1. So 2 hit points of damage.
Okay, great.
But you're knocked out of the way and rolled back and prone if the thing comes after you, unless, of course, your compatriots intervene.
Yeah, something happens.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we don't hear anything because there's like it's all quiet down there. We
Right.
don't hear a darn thing.
And you just
Yeah,
dealt
all
out a
the
deck of
thumping
cards.
stopped.
Yeah.
There's actually some like classical jazz guitar coming up the staircase now. It's all
Yeah.
good.
And it's like, oh, that's Mrog issuing his challenges again. Whatever. No, so you guys, if you're looking down at Mrog, yells his derisive challenge to his foe, and then you see this huge thing like burst across your line of sight and send him sprawling.
Oh.
It bellows, is making though it's going to leap on him or at him with its beak and claws ready to strike.
Tommy's going to drop down and try and poison this thing with serpent's tears.
Oof.
Okay. That's the one that kind of paints a target on them?
Yeah, pretty much. Anyone dealing damage to the target rolls twice and takes the better result. So I'm probably going to take a beating here, but however, I can afford it. So what's it going to be? Dexterity?
Yeah, because if you were just like standing behind it as paying attention to somebody else.
I figure we're above it,
Right.
so I'm going to drop down on
Exactly,
it.
yeah. Yeah, I think a dex.
All right.
Because you're basically defying danger to accomplish this task using your dex.
Oh my god, 6.
Man, we've had like one good roll tonight, and it was to get into this godforsaken place.
Okay, yeah, you jump down. It reared back as you were headed and like hit your leg on the way down. You thump down to the ground behind it, and the serpent's tears spill all over you.
So
Quick, target Tommy.
It seemed some trouble, Harold. Are you going to flee?
yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna flee right into danger.
In fact, good news, Mrog. Actually, the creature felt that thing fall off of it. It's in its rage, and since your challenge didn't affect it, it's whirling, and one of its claws is just getting ready to rake and smash Tommy.
That's terrible
Now
news.
painted with the serpent tears.
I think Tommy had. I mean, I'm gonna leap down, spear and shield at the ready. I'm gonna try, death from above.
Okay, let's see. We could call that a hack and slash if you're going to try to like jump down and no, I think you have to defy danger to get into position here.
Okay.
For it to be a hack and slash.
So is that dex?
Defy danger you could choose if you power through and just like screw you vines, get out of my way. That's strength. Acting fast is dex.
Makes no difference.
I'm open to other
I think
suggestions.
it's fine. We'll just do that.
Sing, charm, and social grace.
Yeah. So here we go. 11.
11.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. So describe what you do to put yourself in position to fight this thing and save Tommy.
I'm leaping from above, off the stairs. My spear punctures its neck, and it's like pinned to the ground as best as I can manage it.
Okay, I'll give you that. So a normal success, I would have said you were just in a position to then roll a hack and slash. I think this could defy danger. Yeah, you can deal damage to it.
Regular amount of damage? Okay.
Yeah, it's just your standard class damage.
No strength is added to that, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. 2.
Oh, dear. Okay. You really did a good job in saving Tommy here. You interposed yourself, took it by surprise a little bit. Its hide is incredibly tough. You're not sure if you actually hurt this thing with just the 2 points of damage.
Okay. Well.
But you have bought time for Tommy to get clear and get on his feet, and Mrog to do. The creature clearly has it takes a step back to try to not let any of you behind it, lets out a huge cry, and
It casts owlbear.
who said anything about an owlbear? Quit your crazy talk about
Yeah.
owlbears.
There's no way this is an owlbear. He said it was like a bird with fur on it.
And a beak, and
He said it was an
owlbear on it.
unnatural creature.
Yeah.
Oh, it is very
unnatural.
unnatural. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like an owlbear to me.
Yeah, in fact, what it does is for a second it stops and like tries to like kind of square off with all of you. Then it tries to duck back all the vines into a tangle of whatever these vine things are, perhaps to make a more stealthy attack in the future. Mrog, it is closest now where it was ducking back away. What are you going to do? I mean, obviously it can't completely disappear from sight because you are all looking at it, but
Yeah.
it is clearly looking for a better vantage from which to pummel you.
I mean, can I just try to pummel it before it pummels us?
Yes,
And even if I don't pummel it, I might clear some vines.
exactly. Okay, so this would be a straight up hack and slash. When you attack an enemy in
Yeah.
melee, roll plus strength.
Yeah, and I am muscle bound. This might not matter yet, but I gain the forceful and messy tags.
Nice. Okay.
There, finally.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, that's
an
an 11.
You have a choice. You can just straight up deal your damage, or You can do your damage plus an extra d6, but expose yourself to the enemy's attack.
I'll expose myself. That's fine.
Okay. All right. As is your custom. So roll
As
your
is my
damage, which for barbarian is that d10
D10
plus
a
a d6. Yep.
6, 1d6, 2,
Okay.
8.
And what is your weapon again? Axe.
Axe.
Okay. So you do penetrate its tough hide, a stout gashing wound, and a weird natural greenish fluid flows out of it. Describe your attack in more detail.
I think it would just be a straight up overhead chop and, kind of step forward and overextend myself, exposing myself for that extra damage. And, probably aiming for the head, but ending up on the shoulder or something like that.
Okay. And you are successful in so doing, but you do expose yourself to attack for 8 damage. Ouch.
Oh, geez, that did hurt.
So it smacks its claws both into your back. Remember from that, though.
But still, that was pretty tit for tat right there.
But so it slams its claws back into you, and then he pushes you back and again tries to duck back away from you to look for a less painful way to fight you guys. Tommy, you're back on your feet. You're painted with serpent's tears. You saw your colleague exchange mighty blows with this horrific creature.
Beat yourself to the not an owlbear and poison it to death.
Is there anything around us because this thing has destroyed just about everything, hasn't it?
Right, except the terrain of the room is these clusters of these vines growing up along the floor, up the stairs, all over. So there's places to duck behind and sneak through. And
I wonder, could I discern reality to see if there's any way, if anything comes to mind, is just somehow to use this environment to our advantage in any way?
I like it. Yes, discern those realities, my friend.
Oh, that means wisdom.
Wisdom, yes.
Okay, well, let's hope it's going to be good to me.
I mean, you're due.
I am, but it's a 5. So much for wisdom.
Wow.
Yep.
So no, you don't find anything with that, and I'm going to go back to my bad thing accumulating clock.
Oh, do I get a XP?
You do. Okay. So, but as you do discern one thing, you feel like a vibration through the tower, not related to the activities of this, one might say, bear-like giant owl creature. Who knows? We don't have names for these things.
You're confusing.
Yeah.
It's an Umber Hulk.
Okay. The thing is trying to duck Harold back away from Mrog as he staggers back, huge claw marks in his back.
Got it. I'm going to activate Magic Weapon, which is the spell I prepared, my first level spell, which gives my weapon an additional d4 of damage.
Okay.
Because we're going to penetrate that hide, as you say. Here comes the attack.
Wait. Magic Weapon, do you have to cast that, right?
Oh, does it take a whole action?
Well, it takes a roll. Like it's cool enough that you can do it and then make your attack. It'll be a hack and slash. You won't get the jump on him because he was engaged.
That's fine.
But
7.
So that means again, this spell is off the table for you now.
Yeah.
So it works, but you're done with it.
Okay, fine. So be it.
You've got plus 1d4 damage until the spell is dismissed. If you have any other spells, I think that might be it. But when it's ongoing, you take -1 to cast a spell.
All right.
Okay, so you light it up and you fill in the blank.
All right, I'm gonna go and try and get a good spear chucked in underneath one of the front arms, like in the armpits area.
Mm-hmm.
Get through the ribs.
Throwing it or going into melee? Okay.
I'm gonna go into melee. Hack and slash is that strength or dex?
Plus strength, yeah.
Right, yeah, okay. 8.
8. Okay. You deal damage to it, but it can do a bad thing to you.
Okay. Here comes
You expose,
damage.
the enemy makes an attack against you. Okay. So roll your damage plus that d4.
Oh, could have been better.
4 or 5. Okay, you did penetrate the hide. It screams in rage, and you sense it's grievously hurt, but not down for the count yet. And its claws hadn't worked their way back from the attack, but its beak snaps out at you.
No.
Ooh, I'm rolling high
6
damage. I'm sorry.
damage.
Points of damage, less any armor or whatever you may have.
Yep, I do have 2 points of armor, so that does help.
Okay. The creature clearly feels he is in his death throes and decides he wants to take as many as he can with him, and just steps out from where he was trying to burrow back into the vines and tries to like clothesline you two up front and is going to like run that in through Tommy. Mrog, attracted by looking at his vines, you've got just a moment to respond and try to prevent this last bulldozer attack.
So yeah, if he's bull rushing me, I'll try again to just put my axe right between his eyes as he's charging.
Okay. I think this still could count as a hack and slash situation since there's an attack directed at you and vice versa.
So 2d6 plus 2, drum roll.
This is a big one. You're pretty hurt.
10.
10! Oh, very nice. Okay,
Boom.
so go ahead and roll your damage. Again, you could put that extra d6 into it if you want, but putting your body on the line when you do it.
I am absolutely doing that. This is a go for broke. I want to end this thing here.
Okay.
So 1d10 plus 1d6, 14.
All right, that'll do it. Oh, yeah. So you spear the thing, and it falls forward onto you. Now, Harold, you have a choice. You can let Mrog take the full brunt of this thing, like plowing onto him and its corpse falling on him, or you can kind of help check it out of the way and take some of the hit off.
No.
No?
And
Okay.
you're strange and confusing.
All right. But you did a good critical. So the thing plows onto you for just 2 points of damage. You got a break there.
Okay.
And I'll say your armor can
Minus,
still.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, that could have been worse.
Or my not armor.
So it falls on you. It's green, gooey, not blood. Spirit is like pouring all over you. It doesn't seem to be acidic or damaging, but it's really gross
Wondrous.
and has an odd smell to it. You're just coated in it, caked in it.
Wow. That's why I didn't want to be there.
It's a new shirt.
I stand up and I shake a bit off and I try to dig some out of my ears.
All right. You have defeated this creature. Why was it here? You don't know. Again, it appears to have been made by some unnatural means. Now the thumping and crashing sound has stopped, happily.
Oh.
Because it was that all along. The weird vine-like things, some of them are broken now from its most full-on headlong charges. A lot of them seem to be surprisingly resilient. And again, even more of them cluster on the stairwell leading down to the next and possibly from the height of these rooms, you're guessing last level down.
Oh, one more level of fun.
Is it at the point where I need to start axing them, or?
You'll have to kind of like wedge yourself through
Okay.
possibly, or you could try axe to make your way down. You see now the broken ones also seem to be oozing some kind of fluid out of them, not gushing, but a slow ooze.
Is it caustic to the touch or anything?
It is not.
Okay.
You're really not sure what it is. It doesn't seem like, sap, like from a tree.
And they're not writhing like they're gonna choke us or anything.
No, they don't.
Okay.
They don't seem to move. I mean, clearly they've grown over time, but they don't seem to be moving in response to your presence or in response to being, crunched by an owlbear. Or whatever that thing was.
A bear owl. Man bear owl. Owlbear man.
He has a name. It's John.
It's John.
It was a burrowing owlbear because it was trying to burrow into the vines.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess me first, huh?
Always.
How are you? Just out of curiosity, how are you doing on hit points there?
I am at less than half my hit points.
They're overrated.
What is your relationship with Mrog again? Doesn't care whether he lives or dies?
Smells more like prey than a hunter.
Fair. Okay. That makes
So
sense.
he's being prey.
I do have the upper hand on my last breath roll, so we'll see. I've got a trick up my sleeve.
Yeah. So if you die and have to deal with death,
Yep, I
you
can make
do
a
get a
deal with
bonus
death.
to the roll. Yep.
So
Crom,
I
don't
will,
fail me now.
Right? Life and free will, and do what you will with it. I will go down to the next level.
Okay. So it is slow going. You're able to pry and wedge and untangles like that to make your way down to this floor. And are you guys following?
Yes.
Okay. You make your way down and you find some clears, and making your way to the center of this room, you find a low plinth. You can never go wrong with the plinth,
No.
I believe was a Yeah.
I mean, what is a session without a plinth?
On that, the vine things converge onto, it takes a moment to recognize it, but a tall humanoid form. And as you get closer, you realize all of these vine things are growing directly from it, from all points. It's like, it's really hard to make out that this was, if it was a human to begin with. These things are protruding from it. It's hard to tell at the base where they begin. They kind of merge flesh color. The body had clothes on it at some point, and you still see scraps and fragments that resemble some of the garb you saw in the entry room upstairs. But of course, now they're a trashed mess of scraps of fabric.
Burn it.
What was that?
I said burn it.
Oh, burn it.
I mean, I'm here for the treasure.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any treasure.
Is the
This
treasure?
used to be like a human. Like, is there any sign of consciousness on this?
I would love, you could make some kind of reality
Yeah,
discernment,
let's
I would
discern some
imagine.
realities.
Okay. Guys have been some of the worst reality discernment.
14.
Oh!
Oh,
Boy,
14.
that's
Oh,
some
Very
good reality discernment. Okay, you get to ask 3 of the questions from the discern realities list. Do you happen to have that in front of you, or I
Yeah,
can
let's
read
see here.
And we can define recently very loosely.
Yeah. How about what should I be on the lookout for?
The thing here seems to be alive in a definition of the word, and its life force is attached to the vines. If the animating principle of it is woken up, the vines, which have been very neutral and terrain-like, could turn exceedingly dangerous. So don't cut the red wire, I guess, is the gist.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
if you do a wrong thing that wakes this up, in whatever meaning of the word applies to whatever this thing is now, it could trigger a lot of vines that could do a lot to impair your ability to get.
All right. Let's go ahead and try that loose definition of recently. What happened here, quote unquote, recently?
Okay. You are tapping into lore you've gained as a druid in your earlier training. You know that one common activity of mages is to journey through one means or another to other strange planes, sometimes of different material, elemental planes, sometimes just crazy, weird worlds. You think what has happened here is that this mage, you're guessing it was in contact with a plane where these strange, whatever these vine things are, were the main life form. And he clearly rolled a 2 at some point. And these things suffused his body, merged with him, and now have been very slowly and incrementally exploring his mage tower. It is very unlikely that you would be able to reverse the damage. It's possible that you might be able to contact whatever consciousness remains if you care to do that. Your feeling is that how this process is something that has probably taken over 100 years,
Yeah, it's
if
been
not
a while,
longer.
Right? Yeah.
That's why I gave the loose recently there.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
You
one
got a
last
third question.
What here is useful or valuable to me?
Okay. You sure you want to ask that one? You see through the vines and the veins and everything that the plinth is not just a plinth. There is a seam on the top of it where the mage vine creature is laying. And you think that it contains some sort. And if any place in this thing is going to have something valuable, it's going to be, where the mage is resting.
All right. Tommy, what do you think about that plinth?
Well, I think we should open it up and take what's in it. I could hit that thing between the eyes with a volley, or we could parley with it.
I mean, it doesn't really seem to have a use for jewels and whatnot. We cleared out the thing upstairs that had been beating on it for the last 100 years. It might be willing to say, yeah, take those shiny rocks, I don't care.
Why doesn't Tommy try parleying with this thing? Does it it seems to have a consciousness?
Maybe. Yes, you can try to make contact with it.
Let's try that. Tommy will try and parley with it and
All right.
ask it if there is anything we can do to alleviate all of these vines, which it seems to be plagued with.
Oh no, we want to talk to the vines, right?
interested in what the vines are coming out of. I'm talking about what the vines are coming out of. Who or what these vines are coming out of. So basically, if there's anything we can do to aid it, is it in need? Do you need assistance? You look like you need assistance. You've got a little something on your head there. So that's a charisma.
Yeah, I think that's a charisma. Talk to infested
Well, I
divine
think
mage.
just that little thing on your head there, I think is worth a success. Come on. 11. All right, finally.
Okay. It takes some talking, and you are at the point of giving up. Like, okay, I'm wasting my time talking to this inert mass of flesh and vine. When suddenly you see a movement where eyes once were, and the head turns toward you slightly, and it rasps out a voice, like, and you have to lean in close, all of you, to listen to it, and it rasps out. Why are you in my tower?
Raps out would have been better.
What's that?
Raps it out, yeah.
Raps out would have been better.
Raps.
Yeah.
My name is Vine Mage, and I'm here to say
What are you doing?
an old
You're in
mage
my
tower
Okay.
ain't a place to play.
Your official rap person name is Vine Mage. Like if you ever drop a
MC
rap
Vine
album,
Mage.
it better be under Vine Mage.
Okay. It seems to have cast its attention toward you, Tommy, and asks you what you're doing in its tower.
Oh, all this commotion outside, and we thought somebody was in danger, so we came in and we found an owlbear, and we
Or
the
a bear
owlbear
owl.
attacked us, or a bear owl, and we ended up killing it. I shouldn't say that, should I? Yeah, we ended up killing this owlbear type bird beast creature thing.
One of my first creations, but not of great use to me any longer.
Man, this guy sucks. I wish I hadn't parlayed with him.
Just
You
ask
ask-
if we can have the damn treasure. That's what we're. It's like
You ask what you can do for me.
Yeah, that's right.
What do I want from you? The vines seek more to inhabit.
Oh,
Would
great.
you
Okay.
be willing?
we'll give him a herald.
Heard that.
No, but we can bring many more people.
Oh my god.
Well, once we're
Great.
gone, they're not going to catch up to us.
Yeah, let's just live here and just feed the vine mage in the basement.
No, we'll just leave.
Mm.
It's called a deception.
You could bring more? Must be willing, as I was.
Yeah, there's all kinds of those types of vine cultists now. Just like Jonesing to be possessed. It's been a long time since you've been out.
A cult. Yes. A cult. Let's see. I'm giving a lot of momentum to your 11 parlay roll there.
Yeah, you are.
Tommy.
I'm just sitting here thinking, man, we could ball of abysmal flame this motherfucker.
Right?
I
We
mean,
sure
is the name
could.
of this
We're in
creature
the
what
wrong.
we
We're
see
in
or
the
something?
wrong game.
So I do it again. Brog grabs his lower jaw and his upper jaw and just peels himself back to reveal Reese.
What do you seek in return?
Your treasure.
Yeah. What you got going on in that plinth there, boy?
Worldly goods no longer have meaning to me.
Oh, fine. Then we'll gladly take them off you, and we'll leave here and we'll go find some other guys and we'll bring them back.
Got binders full of cultists.
Yeah, real willing, real pliable dude.
Yeah, just binders full. What election was that?
Romney.
Romney, that's right.
Romney Obama.
Oh,
Binders
yeah.
full of women. We've got binders full of cultists. All kinds of them.
Of course, that is very reasonable. But I will need to find a way to keep you to your word.
Oh, you can trust us for sure.
We leave Harold here as collateral.
What did I do?
One moment. And the thing seems to go inert again, and then growing out of the forehead, 3 new protrusions come out, and small splinters flake off. Each take 1 under your skin.
Oh,
They will
fuck
not
it.
grow on their own, but they will allow me to contact you when the time is right. And then you may have my treasures.
Hmm.
I mean, Harold's kind of fascinated. This is as wild as it gets. Yeah. All right. He takes.
I'm sure we can find some way out of this. Sure.
Why did you say you can find some way out of this? Oh, no, you didn't say that in character.
No, that was in character.
Didn't say to the camera.
Okay. So you guys jab
I like look at the camera and wink when I say it.
Okay, this has suddenly become a David Cronenberg film.
So-
Okay.
you guys put the mage vine toothpicks and jab them into your
Yeah.
skin?
Under our flesh. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. What could go wrong?
What could
Yeah.
go wrong?
And about halfway in, they kind of help you out by wriggling in a little further.
We
that's
don't,
great.
okay, we've already done this, and we don't even know what this dude has.
That's true.
He's got this trunk full of century-old lottery tickets.
Yeah, he's got a big bag of seeds. The most magical gift of all.
Slowly, he stops talking now and seems to go inert again. But slowly, his remnants and the vines rearrange themselves like a puzzle. And it's slowly and patiently you wait. It moves out of the way, exposing the seam on the plinth. Closer inspection reveals that you can just find something thin like a dagger or a bar or something and pry it open.
Yeah.
No trap obvious, Tommy. I mean,
Okay.
if he wanted to kill you guys, he's got lots of great ways to do it now.
He said contact.
Yeah. Oh, I meant the vines in this place.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
he could lock you in here forever. Okay, it opens surprisingly unreluctantly. It's smooth on its hinge, and you find just a bunch of strange wizardly bric-a-brac. First of all, 4 fire rubies. Wizards might have those. These don't seem to be magically active. They're just valuable gems, but a wizard might have them for various conjurings and to create magical items and things like that. There is a stout, barely transparent jar with swirling liquid gas moving around inside of it. And as you look into it, you a strange, beautiful face within it, occasionally peering out. We will henceforth call that the angel jar. There is a old wooden box. Looking into it reveals a withered hoof of some sort of hoofed animal, maybe a cow, maybe something more exotic. It crackles with strange and off-putting magical energy of some sort.
Is it some box? Wooden box?
It's a wooden box with this withered hoof in. And then carefully wrapped is a crystal sphere of about 3.5, 4 inches in diameter.
A crystal ball. A palantir.
Yes, Sauron looks right at you and said, no. Oops, I wrote crystal ball on the list of things you found. All right. These, apart, like the rubies seem like perfectly normal but valuable. The 3 magical items seem like none of you are really mages or magical in nature, and you feel like strange magical energies in all 3 of these things. They're beyond your understanding, but you know that there are people in settlements, in Behemoth, for example, who could identify them for you, tell you what they are and how to use them.
Perhaps trade
Or
them
you can just start like
for
throwing them
the-
around and see what happens.
for the skills of someone who can get these splinters out of us now.
I suggest we take these things and head off to Behemoth, do some training, and find ourselves some gullible cultists to come back here and
Yeah,
bring
I like
them back.
this.
Bring him
this a
back to
lot.
this tower, and let's see how it goes. Seeing as we're now in, I think somehow we've now crossed into Call of Cthulhu for some reason.
Well, or we could. We have options.
Oh, no, I'm very much in favor of going and luring gullible cultists back to this place.
Game took a strange turn. Okay, you guys
wait to leave
are
from here,
able
or do we
to
have to
make
climb all the
your
way
way back up the stairs. The vines actually seem to part for you now. Not quickly, but it is easier going on the lower floors. And you're able to make it to the top and presumably rope your way back down.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I think we need to head to Behemoth and maybe we can trade some of these items for someone who can pull these things out of us.
Yeah.
Or I've got an idea. We could wait until he contacts us and be like, "Oh man, we thought cultists. That was our bad. It's actually an army coming to destroy you." Tell you what, we just forget about this whole thing and we won't point them in your direction.
Excellent.
There's
right.
always options.